Hello, worldies, and welcome back to my naughty little channel. I hope you are all doing amazing. I hope the audio is good. I got a new mic. Um, I just tried to record a video, and I am, I don't want to call myself technically challenged, but I don't always understand certain things as well as I should. And I realized that my mic was not recording like halfway through me recording. I don't know if it like died or something. So now I'm going to be like watching my screen hardcore, like, hey, are you still recording? But, oh God. I hope you guys are all enjoying your last few weeks of summer. I hope you're the type of person like me that when you hit a road bump, you just keep pushing. I feel like one of my mantras is what's the next best thing? Like I'm very much okay, and now what? You know, figure it out and keep it moving. So I bought a new mic. I've had this one for a while. I go a little bit more into depth about myself, a life update, what I've been, my opinions on certain things like um, you know, weight loss, spirituality, politics. I feel like I talk about some other stuff. But all of that is over on my Patreon. I'm going to try to make sure that I get up a good current link because I want to put more content on Patreon. So, fun fact, I started a Patreon a while ago. I think I started it like in April and I put up like a couple videos because, oh my God, like I hate when I don't just look up some information that I could easily figure stuff out with. I could not figure out how to upload audio from my phone. That's where I previously was recording. Um, and getting it onto Patreon. I could not figure that out. And I was sitting here like, I know that there's a way to do it. And I don't know, I was focused on other stuff. I got defeated. I didn't just ask Google or Chat GPT or something like I should have. And I figured out I just have to do it from my laptop. So I put up an audio only version of my take on the Kia Roan situation and her crash out. And I also have a pretty long upload talking about like a life update and kind of some things that are going to be coming to the channel soon. I do quickly want to address I did um, hit 500 subscribers a while ago and I kept saying, oh, I'm going to do a giveaway and I'm going to tell you guys about a giveaway. I'm going to do it. 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 And I literally took forever, took forever to just like tell you guys all about it. But then I finally did make a video and I was wanting to give away like a $30 gift card to like some sort of place that would help you buy something to assist in your level up. But I went to the video the other day finally to like see if I got any submissions. And I'm gonna guess that honestly, I was just trying to make you guys do stuff. I was like, hey, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment, make sure you leave this emoji, and it has to be on this video. And I took so long to actually do it. Um, so nobody did enter, so I guess we all win. I'm just gonna try to focus on being more consistent, and then maybe when I hit a new milestone, I'll do something to that effect again. So just thank you in general if you've been watching, if you've been commenting and supporting my channel. I've just been focusing on some things in real life, which I do talk a little bit more about that on Patreon. So if you would like, head on over there and I want to talk about the coffee date situation. I have some other videos recorded, but I still would like to edit them and get them up sometime this week. I did want to sit down just because somebody in my audience did request me to speak about it, and I I see that it's like a currently trending thing. And I'm going to try not to make this video super long just because of the fact that I was just recording and then I found out that it wasn't actually recording. And I don't want to say that makes me feel defeated, but like, of course, I'm a human. So I have other things that I got to take care of today. So I might even make like a part 2 to this, but I just want to kind of get out some thoughts on it. So, first of all, if you don't know what's going on, there was a woman who I will say does not fit the conventional beauty standards, who was, I think she posted a TikTok and she said, "Hey, after work, some guy invited me on a coffee date," and I said no. And she was kind of doing like a, I don't know if like a mukbang or something like that. Like I feel like a mukbang, like you have to have like a lot of food, or like you're supposed to be like stuffing your face or something. I don't know if that's what it is that makes it a mukbang. But she grabbed like some food and was sitting down eating the food. And so she's being, there's a lot of online discourse because a lot of people are, they're talking about like her look and her aesthetic, and they're saying, "Oh, because of how you look, you know, you should be grateful that somebody's asking you on a date. You should have said yes." Other women saying like, "Oh, well, you never know, that could be your husband. I met my husband and our first date was a coffee date." um you know People saying like, people critiquing like how she looks and her order in the video where she was talking about that. um Being like, I think she had gotten like a sandwich and soup or something like that, and people saying like, "Oh yeah, do they have salads on the menu?" and all that. So that's kind of what's going on. A lot of people are kind of talking about it, and it's starting this conversation of, what do you think about coffee dates? Would you be offended if you go on a coffee date? Are coffee dates low effort? Would you go on one? Would you not? Have you been on one? What do you feel like if a man asks you on one? And so on and so forth. So I'll try to get into my take. I personally have never been asked on a coffee date. In my life, I haven't. Now, would I go on one? That depends. Now, my automatic answer is no. Um, just because of the fact that, and I'll kind of go into why. Me personally, um, I'll use Lori Harvey as my reason. So Lori Harvey, socialite. She's a stepdaughter of Steve Harvey. Very beautiful. She has gone viral for certain things, as far as you know, like maybe her workout or like her diet. I believe has gone viral before. Um, let's see. She was dating Michael B. Jordan and she turned down his engagement. I know that she's been publicly linked to like Future, um, Sean Combs, and one of his sons or something like that. I don't know which one. Um, but a lot of people, I feel like, I don't know why she kind of developed this reputation of being like, what's the word? Like people saying that like I hate to say, like people were saying that she was a hoe, and me personally, I never agreed with that. And one, I just feel like beautiful women, they have a lot more options than the average woman who's probably judging her, or the man who's judging her probably would never get access to her. So, their opinions on somebody like her literally don't matter. Like she does not care about your judgments. You would never have access to her. She would not trade bodies with you. Like if you're a woman who judges her, like, and this is not in my audience, I would assume in my audience, most women don't harshly judge Lori Harvey. A lot of times, women, they claim that they know what they would do if they had somebody's looks and status and position in society, but you don't actually know because you don't have it, which is why you're the person talking about that person. Um, I've always felt like I never seen a Smex tape of her, and I also just feel like it's her cat to do whatever she wants to do with it. I feel like if she's, you know, if she's getting to her bags, if she's just networking, if she is a lover girl, if she just moves on if a guy is not treating her well, if she's just getting gifts or bags or dinners or dates or whatever it is. I just feel like that's kind of what a socialite does. Like she's being social, she's being beautiful, she's model, and I feel like she's a pretty good influence, just in general, especially if you're into hypergamy. And well, I definitely don't see her putting up with struggle love. So I would say that she's a much better influence than a lot of the other women who get pedestalized and get called a good woman for putting up with. Yes, but I've never seen a Smex tape. I've never known that she actually slept with anybody that she was pictured with. The thing is, when you're a beautiful woman, people are just keeping tabs on you all the time. So she literally could have just been chatting with a guy. Certain guys could have only gotten one date. It could have just been she was never sleeping with them and she was just getting some dates. She was just going shopping. She was just doing whatever it was. Like, I just feel like it's really weird to be trying to police what she does, or even trying to judge her based on speculation. We don't actually know what she was doing, and even if she was, okay, like, that's her business. And I just feel like I I never judged her personally, but with that, I do feel like as a woman, something you have to be mindful of is, especially the way that people date in this, is that I feel as though people are much more so into talking stages where they're like prolonging the steps before commitment. But I feel like it can sometimes hinder women more so. I feel like a lot of times when women are too concerned with appearing like they're hypergamous, or like they're social climbers, or like they're talking to everybody and stuff like that, sometimes they can kind of let society, bully them into staying in situations and putting up with situations that they really shouldn't, because, oh well, I already talked to him, I already was seen in public with him, we're talking now, and so I'm just gonna wait over here and figure out what he wants to do. Like, when I watch some of these like dating types of shows and stuff online, like on Netflix, I really hate when there's a love triangle, when there's some man who's choosing between women, and the women are like trying to compete with each other, or like allowing themselves to be triangulated. Like, that's one of my biggest pet peeves. I hate that. I'm like, get up, get, like, I don't like that. Like, I just feel like um I just don't. I prefer personally to be the one in the power. I prefer um I like to be the one choosing between the guys. I don't want the guy choosing between, like, I don't know. It just feels a little bit too pick me for me. I don't, you know, I'm not into that. I hate when I see beautiful women allowing themselves to be triangulated. Not because I'm judging them, but I'm just like, girl, I wish you see what's going on right now. Like, come on. And most of the time, the guy just goes with whichever one seems to be like more of a pick me, or like less emotionally strong, um, or the one who like feels more so like she has to perform and jump through hoops, and the one who's more, because it is a tactic, triangulate you against another woman. But with Lori Harvey, I feel like if every person in this world was, you know, under the same amount of scrutiny that she was, if everybody had access to seeing how many people you text, how many people you end up on FaceTime with, how many people you chill with, go on a date with, how many people you slept with, I just feel like people would probably they'd judge her a lot less harshly if they knew what it was like to be in the spotlight and to have people, speculating. She honestly didn't have to have slept with any of those guys. Like, I mean, technically, like, I would assume that she probably was with her boyfriend. I think she was with Damson Idris for a while, but you actually don't know how other women date. Just because you throw your cat at every single man that you've ever been seen with, that you've ever shared air with, doesn't mean that she's doing that. Even if she's in a committed relationship, you don't know people's morals, their values, their standards. You really don't know. Like, with these people, the rich and the famous, you don't know what they actually are doing. You have no idea. And you really don't know what you would do if you were in their position. And so, because of that, I feel like, one, for women, I feel like when it comes to these talking stages that men will to have you in, me, I don't do talking stages. That doesn't mean I've never done one, but I don't do that anymore. I more so prefer, like, when I'm dating, I prefer roster dating. And you know, I feel like if you want me to be yours, then you will actually use your big boy words and make the moves and the steps and prove to me why I should cut off the benefits from the other guys. Like you would prove that to me. You would show to me why I would do that. I just feel like sometimes when you're like a really beautiful woman, you got pretty privilege. Sometimes men see you as a status symbol. Sometimes men just really want to be seen in public with you. And some women, if you've never experienced that, you might not understand that. But you know, for me, with a coffee date is like, I oh my god, I've even been in situations where like somebody like I went on a date with a guy and we didn't like, oh my god, like I've been in a situation before where I went on a date with this guy and I was literally, you know what, I'm gonna save that for my Patreon. I'm gonna tell that story over on my Patreon because I'm like, it is just so like when I'm looking back, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. But I just feel like you need to be careful about being seen in public with men because sometimes like they will run with that, like, oh my god, I can't wait to tell that story on my Patreon. I'm gonna try to record that maybe later today. But me personally, I just feel like I know the implications for that are different for a man versus a woman. I know that, as seen with Lori Harvey, if you are seen with a man, people will assume that you're popping that cat. So I just feel like if people are going to assume that I'm popping that cat, I might only want to then accept dates that I would actually pop cat for. We're not saying it's like strictly transactional because it's not for me, but like I mean, I don't engage in casual sex, so you know, for me, it's different. Like if you take me to like a really nice dinner or a really nice, experience or something. At least if we were to be photographed or somebody sees us together and you start lying on my name and claiming that something happened that didn't, I don't want you lying on my name over coffee because me personally, um, I love espresso. I love drinks. I make a lot of that stuff myself at home, and um, I feel like I just finished watching Love. No, not Love Island. I have not watched that yet. I need to because people are making some great content on it, and I don't understand what's going on yet. So I am gonna watch that soon. But I just finished watching Love Is Blind season 3, just because I don't always watch stuff when it first comes out. Just because I just, for me, I hate things happening in real time. I like to watch it once it's old, once the people are out of their contractual obligations, once they've done their interviews, once people have made their commentary. I like to watch it then. I don't know. I'm just kind of greedy, maybe in the sense that like I want to know the current day tea. I don't want to see it when it's first come out, but it was filmed a long time ago and they still can't say anything and the reunion hasn't happened. I don't really like watching stuff when it's like current. I like to watch it when it's old. Because then I feel like people can spoil it for me and I hate that experience. Like I like to just have everybody else already watch it. They talk about it, then it eventually dies down and stuff. And I'm kind of hearing it, but kind of not paying attention to certain things. And it's not like, oh, I didn't get a chance to watch that episode yet, or I didn't get a chance to watch the reunion yet, and somebody spoiled it for me. It's more so like, it's kind of floating in my subconscious a little bit what people were saying about it, but I finally get to have like the fresh experience of watching it once everybody's kind of forgotten about it. But if you watch that season, which I feel like it was a pretty popular season, there was a couple on there, Nancy and Bartise, where there was this the point in the show where the like they like meet each other's families, and her brothers were basically like asking Bartise like, hey, like why did you propose to my sister, like what do you like about her, and he gave this like really generic basic answer, and that ended up being a sign of how he really felt about her. Um, Last I heard about that guy, I heard that he like is doing an OF now, which I literally saw coming because I remember on the show thinking it was super weird that he was trying to brag so openly about his, his sexual prowess and his performance. my prediction was like, oh, he must just be going on here to get clout and to get other women to be like, oh, so she liked it. Well, I gotta go try it myself. But which I guess technically it is kind of still that because he um is on OF, and I'm assuming it's probably with a whole bunch of women, other OF people or something. I wouldn't really know. But with a coffee date, if a guy were to invite me for one, and it's like, oh, why world? I really want to bring you to this place specifically because XYZ really specific thing where I know that you know about me. Like, I wouldn't do a coffee date for a first date unless that guy somehow before a first date found out so much about me to make me feel like it was catered specifically to me. That's just my own personal thing. I don't judge women who do go on. What I don't like about the conversation is that, and this is something that I've dealt with and you will deal with on your like decentering men journey. Women who are male centered, and no, I'm not saying if you accept coffee as a first date, but I'm saying that women who are maybe destily married, women who are destily partnered, and I mean currently, I'm not the type to judge a woman who was with a guy and she left him. You left him. So whether that means you divorced, you broke up with him, you ghosted him, you moved out, whatever, I'm not gonna judge you like, oh well, why did you stay? Why were you with him in the first place? Like, she's not with him now, so I don't like. Okay, good for you. Like, you you eventually decided to not be with the guy anymore. So I don't. I'm not. When I say destiny married or destiny partnered, I don't mean you ever have been partnered or ever have been married in a situation like that. I mean, you currently are with some guy who hates you. You hate him, and you're experiencing cognitive dissonance. And on one day, your man is the best man in the world, and on the next day, you're crying and whining about how bad he is, and you want everybody to feel bad for you. Um, I don't like situations like that because I'm the type of girl where because I don't put up with certain stuff. Like I don't, and I used to not understand this when I was younger. Talk about like old friends who don't like hearing your relationship drama and you're just gonna go back to the guy. I get it now. Like I didn't always get it. I get it. So I'm like, honestly, I don't want like me. I really get like actually concerned for women. I start thinking that there's like really bad things happening to them. I start feeling really bad. I start wanting to give you resources and information, and I start like really feeling bad for what you're going through. So like, if you want to just complain about the guy, but you want to stay with him, please don't complain to me. Get a therapist. Complain to somebody else. Um, because me, like, I feel like a lot of women like that, they will end up misplacing their anger towards their mediocre partner towards you if you are kind of like ew, like me, I'll recoil. Like when women will tell me certain things about their man, and then I'll kind of be looking at you like, oh, like why are you putting up with that? Like, or like I feel like sometimes certain women, if you're like the pretty girl, they will take it really hard if they find out that you don't feel like their man is a flex or you feel like they're in a destiny marriage. Like they take it especially hard when you do because subconsciously they're probably or even consciously mentally competing with you, and a lot of times they just see their marriage or their relationship as a status symbol, or like their entire identity. And if they can't flex that on you because you see that their man is neglectful, hates them, doesn't protect, doesn't provide, is a dusty, whatever, um, they can take it really hard when you notice. They really don't want you to notice. It kind of kills their whole illusion, their whole shtick that we have going on. But I feel like there are a lot of women who are getting triggered that other women, you know, would not accept the same things that they have. I mean, I totally understand if a woman is saying, if you accept this, then you are da 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 da, and then you feel as though you have to defend yourself and your choices. I get that. Me personally, I'm not saying that I think that makes you. I just think that makes you a different person. Everybody dates differently. Everybody's been through different things. Everybody like has a different philosophy. Everybody has different dating goals. I mean, I feel like especially if your like goal is hypergamy, I feel like which is that's not every woman's goal, and it doesn't have to be. Like there are some women who just want to date for the money. Some women just want to date for the love. Some women want to date for the love and for the money. So there's so much nuance to the conversation. I'm not going to judge the next girl for how she chooses to date because it may be in line with her goals. She could just be going to gather information. She could just like not have an issue with it. Like that's everybody is different. um me personally, I feel like uh, women, they just project onto the next woman, like, you know even if the woman's not saying, I think that there's anything wrong with you doing that, just, oh, personally, it's not for me. People just, they get really uptight about that. They get really offended about it. Like, they feel like, oh, so you're trying to say that I'm lesser than you because I'm doing that. It's like, no, I actually didn't say that. Like, me personally, I'm sure that if I watched enough content, um, some women are probably aggressively putting down women who do go on coffee dates, or even women who have been offered coffee dates. And I don't look down on women who have been offered them. I don't think that says something about you. I don't think that there's a perfect way to vet men or anything. Um, I don't. I think everybody has their different strategy. Everybody has their different outcome that they're looking for. And for some women, the coffee date for the first date might be a part of their strategy, or they're fine with it. And I would never judge or look down on a woman for that. What I have an issue with is you basically trying to have an issue with me not accepting it. They're trying to be like, oh, well, you don't want to accept it because da 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 da. Like, I totally understand that there's discourse out there where people are probably coming at those women who are accepting them, and so then I'm sure they're firing back saying, oh, you won't accept it because insert, negative insult, whatever. But just from where I'm at, because I know I'm not saying anything negative, I don't have negative feelings about that. It's just not my personal. It's just not my cup of tea. Like me, I've dealt with certain things. Sometimes guys really just want to be seen with you, and me personally, if a guy's gonna be seen with me, it's not gonna be for coffee, just because of the fact that if it's that he just does that with everybody, then I personally don't want to. Um, I mean, I also wouldn't love the situation if a guy was, taking me to the same place that he takes everybody either. Like every woman wants to feel special. And I totally understand when you like first meet a guy, like you might not be special for him. And I just feel like, hey, if some women are not accepting the coffee dates, you never know. Some men might use that as their litmus test to see if a woman is like worthy of him. And so I feel like, hey, you should be happy if some women won't accept it, because then if you do, then that would put you ahead of, if you feel like it's all a competition. Um, but I don't feel like we should all be like policing each other's choices and our dating strategies that much. I feel like you either want to do it or you don't. And if you don't want to, that's your business. And if you want to, that's your business. Um, but me personally, I've never been offered one, and I would only accept going on one if it was a very specific reason that a guy like showed me that he understood something about me. Um, but I just personally, I don't. It's just not, if I'm going to a coffee shop, I don't want to go there and be like trying to get to know a guy. Just personally, that's just not the setting in which I like to get to know men. It's just not like, because me personally, especially when it comes to first date, like I'm a glam type of girly. And that is also kind of like how I will vet men sometimes. Is I like men who, I don't like feeling like I'm overdressed. I have my style. I like how I like to dress. So I prefer to date men who want to take me to the places where I'm gonna look like I'm dressed for the occasion. Um, and that's just kind of been how I have chosen to date. Like, um, I don't want to go to a place wearing what I love to wear and then I just look very overdressed, or I look like I'm trying too hard. Um, you know, I just, if I'm going to a coffee shop, I want to I want to be alone for the most part. I don't even really want to go with friends or family. I like, if I'm going to a coffee shop, I want to go there with a laptop and be working and have my headphones in, or I want to be reading. I've gone to like coffee shops and read before. Um, Sometimes I'll go to a new one and I'll get really into looking at the artwork that's on the walls and stuff like that. It's just not the setting to me that's the most romantic. Just for me. And it's like I said, I don't judge if that is your thing. I don't feel like I'm superior to any women who do accept them and do get offered them and do choose to go on them. I'm sure that somebody's going to come out at some point and say, well, if you don't accept them, here's what's wrong with you and stuff. I'm sure people are saying that. But I mean, hey, I just feel like we all deserve to date the way that we want to. I just feel like nobody has a perfect way to date, a perfect strategy. It's not really my thing, but I think that this conversation is a lot less about whether or not you should accept a coffee date and more so about how do you feel when you see another woman accepts or doesn't accept something that you do or don't accept. I feel like that is the bigger takeaway. I feel like us as women sometimes we get very triggered if somebody's saying like, oh, I would never do XYZ and we do XYZ or we have done XYZ. We start getting very offended and we take things personally, and I feel like 9 times out of 10 most things aren't personal. That's just how I take things. Like even when it comes to dealing with jealousy, envy, and haters and stuff like that, I don't take that stuff personal. I just say, hey, okay, there's something about me that person finds aspirational. They feel like their energy is better spent hating on me than trying to acquire it for themselves. It's not. It doesn't have something necessarily to do with me. That's how some people deal with their problems. That's how some people deal with whatever. And I it's none of my business. I just keep it pushing for the most part. But I am curious to hear what you all think about this. Um, have you ever been asked on a coffee date? Do you go on coffee dates? Are you neutral? Um, are you offended if somebody asks you on a coffee date? Will that like disqualify a man in your eyes? How do you feel when you see that another woman is accepting or rejecting something different than you? Let me know down in